I just recorded a 30-minute breakdown, going through the whole episode, and then it didn't have sound. It blipped on me. Something happened, and now I have to re-record, so bear with me. This breakdown might be a little brief, although I don't even know if I have the ability to be brief about this show. So let's get into it. Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 8, Chapter 16, The Rescue. Where to begin? Well, at the beginning, obviously. I've said it, and this confirmed it. This was Act 3 of a 3-act play. If you were to watch 14, 15, and 16 in succession, you would be pretty damn happy about probably the best Star Wars movie we've seen since the originals. This was great. No exaggeration. That's how good this show is. If you were to couple together this entire season in triptychs, we'd probably have the best trilogy since the originals. It's just that good. Start at the beginning. It's a Western. They walk into a bar. It's almost like the start of a bad joke. 2 Mandalorians walk into a bar. They are going to look for Bo-Katan. We start with this beautiful sweeping shot of Slave One coming in on this planet. I don't really know what planet they're on. It doesn't have the same overall water world look that it did when they dropped the Frog Lady off, so I'm not sure where they found Bo-Katan or how, but they found her. She obviously traded the transport that they stole from the other planet, because she's in one of the traditional Mandalorian ships now. That's amazing. Good to see. It was literally like going to a car show and bop, bop, bop. You've got one of those. You've got Slave One, and you've got this other ship over here. It was great, man. Anyway, they walk into this bar. They find Bo-Katan and her sidekick. Her name's escaping me. But Sasha Banks, who she plays. They approach him, and Den's like, I need your help. And Bo-Katan says, not all Mandalorians are bounty hunters. There's a kind of class war going on in her comments, because you've got this elite, royal, noble Mando and her sidekick. I don't too much condone violence, man, okay? I want that known. I don't think you should do that. But if somebody said that to me, they go in the right way for getting smacked in the mouth. You don't talk about my daddy like that? Anyway, she gets at him, and he says, he gets into it with Sasha Banks' character, and she says, I didn't know sidekicks could talk. And he's like, well, ain't that basically the space version of ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? He steps to her. They get to scrapping right there in the bar. On one hand, Bo-Katan dissed him, but on the other hand, in one sentence, she actually wraps him into the Mandalorian lore and story and heritage by saying, cut it out, save it for the imps. If we had had this much backbone against the Empire in the first place, we would never have been kicked off of our home world. So just in that sentence, she acknowledges him. He also acknowledges that he knows about her because he continually calls her princess. She's a noble Mando, but I don't think he's always meaning it politely. I think he's meaning it as a dig, to show that there's a class difference between the two. Crazy. Interesting. Very interesting. And at first, she's like, hey, I can't help you. And it's not what I expected to hear, because if she does have the kind of honor that she expected Den to have, Den stepped right up when she needed help. Even though he needed the help too, and it was a trade, he stepped up and did it, no questions asked. However, when he asked for her help, she is like, nope, you a bounty hunter. That's what you do. We don't do that. And then he's like, I know where to find Gideon. What? Say what? Then she perks up. Come on now, Bo. Anyway, they get to dipping. They go. They have a stolen freighter. No. They have a stolen shuttle, kind of like Shuttle Tidarian. They're going to actually borrow that whole trope of, stolen shuttle. Your ID checks out. It's an older one, but it checks out. They're gonna use that in this episode. So they're on this shuttle, and they're going through hyperspace. They're going over the plan. This is where she kind of gives Bo-Katan gives Boba some props. They have a little bit better interaction. She's like, listen, you got to make your shots count. You got to make them look real. They're going to try to basically stow away on this vessel. And Boba's like, don't worry about me, princess. He says it once more. Calls her princess. Don't worry about me. I'll make the shots look real. I'll sell it. You just stay safe in there. Or be careful in there. That kind of made me think, Boba, obviously Din is kind of crew now. Finnick is definitely his crew. Bo-Katan, not at all. But Boba acknowledges the fact that she's royalty within the culture he was taught. And you see this a lot in life. You see this a lot in the world. Just because you claim a culture doesn't mean the culture claims you back. And that's kind of a hard lesson. Boba, in his mind, in his upbringing, is a Mandalorian. And he said so. She goes, you're not a Mandalorian. And he's like, never claimed to be. But this armor belonged to my dad. So in his heart, he knows that he's had some of those teachings. He recognizes this royal line of Mandalore. And he says so. You just stay safe in there, princess. Now, why would he be so cordial if he weren't somewhat buying into this common thread that they all have? I found that interesting. Not that it'll go anywhere. And maybe I'm off base, but that's what I read from it, and it was kind of interesting. They board the ship using, again, that sort of stolen access code thing that we got from the original trilogy. The shuttle claims to be being attacked. I love the sound of the Slave One guns. That little chirping sound that they make. If anyone is wondering what I would possibly like for a Christmas, birthday, or just anything, Slave One would be dope. Maybe not the actual ship, but maybe a toy. Maybe a model. Yeah. Let's work on that. It works. They crash the party. I'll skip ahead. They go through a little thing where they literally have to crash the party, but they crash the party. Din is going to go his way to find Grogu, and the rest of the crew is going to go to the bridge because Bo-Katan is amassing a small flotilla, a small armada, and she wants this ship also. She's already got a big one that she got from the water world. She wants this one too. So with everybody going their separate ways, we kind of accidentally have a girl power moment, and I'm here for it. It wasn't as cheesy, blatant, in your face, on the nose as the one in Endgame. And I'm actually really glad about that because that was kind of cringeworthy. I don't like when things get preachy. We all have the powers of observation. Don't preach to me. Don't talk down to me. So the ladies are handling biz. Straight up. You don't have to call out girl power. Just be powerful. Do your thing. And they do that thing. Finnick, we find out, is a good fighter, good shot. They kind of feature her in a couple of passages in which we know that we're going to be getting more from her in basically what's the equivalent of the Clone Wars Season 8, or AKA the Bad Batch show. We know she's going to feature in that. They tried their hand at giving Gina Carano a little bit of humor to act with. Her gun jams, like, I didn't know blasters could jam. That's, again, in canon, that's interesting information to have. They give her this whole kind of bumbling, fumbling scene where Fennec saves her a couple times because her gun is jammed. She gets on the elevator and she's doing all types of Star Wars universe curse words, and Bo-Katan is looking at her like, you sure you don't need some help? Wham! She slams it on the floor. No, I got it. Thanks. Excuse me. Whips it over her head, over Fennec's head, and then just starts laying them down when the elevator door opens. So I think they purposefully tried to give Gina Carano something to work with that was less than just scowling and being a tough chick. So I think that I thought that worked. It got a little bit on the nose. It got a little bit like, hey, look at Cara Dune being funny. Yep. But it was good. It was okay. They make it to the bridge. They do the thing. They take over the bridge, but there's no Moff Gideon. And Bo-Katan even says so. Where's Gideon? You know, the deal is that Gideon has to surrender to her in order for her to have the Darksaber and its power, or what it represents. She can't find him. Cut to Din Djarin and what he's up to, trying to find baby Grogu. They were the diversion, he was the real mission. And he stumbles upon the door to the Dark Troopers opening up. Oh no, did I mention that there's a whole platoon of Dark Troopers ready to be set free? Yep. And I gotta say, I love the music that they used for the Dark Troopers. That dubstep switch on the theme and that kind of futuristic, like something futuristic even in Star Wars, crazy good. He stumbles over to the door. He uses the key access code. He locks the door. Boom. These things are terrifying, man. Like this was the horror flick of the episode. One of them gets out. Door slams behind him. Okay, Din's got to deal with one. This is where they're going to explain visually how tough this thing is. He's giving it all he's got. He's burning it, slashing it. He hits it with the whistling birds. Nothing. And this thing just holds him up against the wall and basically tries to punch his head through the wall. And it just about works, but we also see how tough Nukar Beskar is. Like, damn. He takes some straight lefts to the dome piece, and I'm sure he got dizzy inside, but the Beskar held up. Oh, the Beskar held up. It's almost like it clicked in his brain. He flips back. He gets tossed across the floor. He takes the pike that he got from Ahsoka, who got it from the magistrate, and he was able to stab this thing in the neck and pop his top. Literally popped his head off. And that's how he beat him. But he's exhausted. He exhaust ports the rest of these Dark Troopers out into space. Oof. Woo! Wins the day and goes. Not really, though. So he finds baby Grogu, and who's there with him being an ass about it? Gideon. Now, I know some people were complaining that Gideon wasn't in enough episodes. He wasn't featured. We didn't get to see Moff Gideon enough. We get all the Gideon we want in this episode, and Giancarlo Esposito is prime, okay? Just because an antagonist isn't on screen doesn't mean that his presence isn't felt. He was the looming danger through all of these episodes. He was the holder of the Darksaber for Bo-Katan to play against. He was there enough. And I know you want more of Giancarlo face to face, but this proves why he was on the run. He wasn't prevalent on screen because he was on the run. He was eluding them following. He was eluding everyone. He wanted to research this baby. He's on the search for the baby, blah, 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 blah. All those things. It worked. He's a boss in this episode. So he tells Mando, hey, look, I don't want anything. I just wanted the kid's blood. I got that already, so I'm studying that. Go ahead. You can take him. Mando is terribly naive for such a badass bounty hunter. Or maybe he just hasn't encountered enough Imperials. I don't know. But he falls for it, and Gideon, like Gideon would do, attacks him from behind. Starts whacking at him. Now we hear previously Bo-Katan made a mention to this that set us up to understand how tough this was going to be. Pure Beskar cannot be cut. At least not by a lightsaber. Which is now canon. And it also says that partial Beskar, maybe partial Beskar is Durasteel, like Boba's armor. It can deflect, but it can be damaged further by lightsabers. I don't know. Din Djarin is the only one we really see taking full-on shots. Everybody else avoids it. So maybe as some of the Mandalorian armor was being built and the Empire had stolen so much Beskar, maybe some of the Mandalorians' armor was only shot protective at a distance or within a certain power range. But full-on shiny Beskar, we know, cannot be cut by a saber. The exposition set us up to see exactly what's about to happen. It's actually really impressive. It's probably one of the better duels of this entire season. So, New Car Beskar does its thing again. It gets to a point where Mando has to kind of scramble because he got caught off guard, but he finally gets his pike out and we got ourselves a full-on battle. We got a good duel happening. Like I said, probably one of the best. They're going in. He finally gets the best of him, disarms him. And there's just something like deliciously sinister that Giancarlo Esposito is so good at doing. And so he immediately goes into this sort of survival mode where he's going to, deflect and make sure that he can stay alive for his moment to try to get back on top. So he says, you're sparing my life. This will be interesting. Because he already knows his plan. He needs to cause dissent. And he's got the story of the Darksaber at his disposal in his hip pocket. Not understanding what he's saying, Din Djarin grabs the Darksaber, walks him to the bridge of the ship, and Bo-Katan is visibly upset by this. And she asks, what happened? She's not concerned in general, hey, what happened? She wants to know the details of how this came to be. Why are you holding that sword? Why is he in shackles? What happened for that exchange to happen? Because it matters, and Gideon is going to tell us why. This is where the story of the Darksaber is a tool for his advantage. He says, it's yours now. What's mine? The Darksaber. Technically, you are the ruler of Mandalore. She can't have it. Are you going to kill him? And he asked this. Are you going to kill him now? Din's like, whoa, what you talking about? Like, I came for the kid. Here, take your sword. And Bo-Katan doesn't reach for it. It's everything you want. Take this from me. She can't. And Gideon begins to explain why she can't. That's really, really interesting. Because previously Bo-Katan did accept it from Sabine. And as she was given it, she united the clans for a bit. Most likely just before Gideon and the Empire came for the Purge. But why could she have accepted it then and not now? And maybe that's how Gideon got the Darksaber, is because she didn't quite feel worthy of wielding it. Yes, she'll lead her people, but she's not Queen of Mandalore yet. Duchess Satine was the ruler of Mandalore. Her regrettable history with her sister and Death Watch and all of that might have come flooding back. So she passes along the sword, or maybe she puts it into safekeeping, and Gideon steals it during the attack, during the siege. She knows that someday she has to find a way to get it, or maybe that was the plan all along. Oh, that's good. Maybe in battle she knew he would find it, and then she could go win a duel that would give her the sword and the power to rule Mandalore. But this is a hiccup because he's a Mandalorian, but he's one of the Watch. He didn't even want to be down with us at first. Like, damn. But Din's like, here, take it. I give it up. And he goes, no, you got to battle for it. And Din goes, okay, well, then I yield. Nope. It's not how it goes. So just as we reach this quandary, just as we reach this stopping point and everybody's trying to figure out what's going on and what this means, a single X-Wing, they get a warning, a proximity warning, and a single X-Wing flies into the hangar bay. A single X-Wing. We don't want to get our hopes up, right? But Cara Dune says something that basically, in show, it's meant to think what we just thought. Don't get your hopes up. In real time, it's giving us the hint that we wanted. She says a single X-Wing, oh great, now we're all saved. You know, what's that going to do? But if they know who's on that X-Wing, oh, jeez. All right, I wasn't one who wanted this. I thought that it should go a different direction. The Skywalker saga was over, and it ended with such turmoil, both in universe and out of. I just wanted them to go a different direction, but they gave me what I didn't even know I needed. We're hoping against hope now that we've seen, okay, this isn't a single X-Wing. There's only one character we know that's been flying around the galaxy in a single X-Wing. At one point, you see a hooded cloak, and Bo-Katan says, a Jedi? With a massive question mark in her voice. She would know about the Jedi. She's probably the only one who will have encountered one straight up. Even when she says that, Moff Gideon has this freaked out look on his face. He's seen what baby Grogu can do, but a full-on Jedi? So he takes this moment to pick up a blaster that had fallen on the floor, and he had hidden it next to him. And he starts opening fire on him. Bo-Katan gets shot, but I think she does get up later. And then he aims at the baby. You know, if I can't have him, no one can. Aims at baby Grogu, and Din Djarin throws himself in the way, and bing, 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 blaster bolts bounce off of him. And then we get back to the screens. They're seeing all of this through screens. We see the hooded cloak. We know it's a Jedi. Grogu contacted somebody. We see... And at that point, we're still like, okay, is this who we think it is? Hooded cloak Jedi flying around in a single X-Wing fighter, no squadron. We need a little more confirmation. This is a two-factor authentication. We see the gloved hand holding a green lightsaber. Full-on Luke Skywalker, y'all. You gotta be kidding me. This for real? Is this really happening? He cuts through these dark troopers like it's nothing. Din Djarin like had hell dealing with one of them. Luke is just walking through, like power walking through this ship, like flexing on him. By the end, quite literally, he crushes one. He force crushes the last one, flexing on him. They give him a hallway scene very much like Vader had in Rogue One. It's dope. It's like if you're an against all odds character, they're going to give you a hallway scene. Have at it. Have a ball. There's your hallway. Lots of enemies. Have a ball. He makes it all the way to the door of the bridge, and by now, Din has been watching with Grogu. He knows that this is the Jedi he contacted. He knows that he's about to say goodbye. So they open the doors. Everybody's still kind of scared of the Jedi because, space wizard with a laser sword. That's some scary stuff. But Din knows what's going down, so he prepares baby Grogu to go. Teary-eyed, and baby Grogu reaches for his helmet. Without hesitation, this staunch child of the Watch, who refuses to remove his helmet, has only done so at the brink of death to get information to save his kid, and now because the kid asked him to. It was an incredible scene. Like, props to Pedro Pascal for the acting. It was insanely moving. Dad vibes all over the place. He removes his helmet and they have a look. It's just a look. There's no dialogue. And he cracks the slightest smile. And baby Grogu touches his face. His little hand touches his face. It was like, your boy's chest got tight. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna cry though. It was a good scene, and right when you think overload of cuteness and emotions and I'm in the feelings, got me all in the feels. R2-D2? Huh? What? Bleep, bloop, bleep, talking to baby Yoda. I'm done. Oh, man. Word. So good. They have a walk-off. That's that. No time to address the drama of the Darksaber and the king or queen of Mandalore. Save that for next season. Right now, walk off. Baby Grogu's okay. And he says, I'll see you again. I promise. So for those asking if Kylo Ren is going to kill baby Grogu, no. There's 24 years between now and that moment. And on top of that, Din Djarin could have gone back to get his fully trained kid. He just sent his kid off to Space Wizard College, okay? Chill out. Space Wizard College. That's what it is. So he got a scholarship to Space Wizard College. He called and had the interview. And they came and picked him up. Well done. Well done. So he'll see him again, and I think that's why Grogu was not at the academy when it got blown up. So that's the end. No, it's not. Favreau brought a little of that Marvel over to the Star Wars universe in more ways than one, but in the form of the end credit or mid-credit scene. Boom, jump cut to a binary sunset. Well, hello, Tatooine. They pan over and it's Jabba's palace. Well, that was the scene of the crime for Boba Fett's demise, but I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be that. So you walk in, you see, you know, they got the scene set. People are still partying in Jabba's absence. He's dead. But his right-hand man is there still. So they're chilling, drinking, whatnot. Blaster bolts start raining down the stairwell. You're thinking at this point it might be Boba, but it's not. It's Fennec. Fennec's clearing the path. Boba follows shortly after. Boba, good to see you. We thought you were dead, and, you know, a little bit of conversation. Boba doesn't even engage. He just shoots him. Deads him on the spot. Rolls him out of that throne. sits down. Finnick grabs a drink, sits on the arm of the throne, and they pose it down. Like Conan the Barbarian or something, you know. And then it goes dark, and the screen reads, The Book of Boba Fett, coming in December 2021. What? My boy not only got a redemption arc and avoided death like some people thought he was going to get, he got his own show. The Book of Boba. I'm all in, man. I'm all in. This is too much. This is too much to deal with. Such a good episode. Such a really good season. Again, I'm going to go back and watch the whole thing because every single episode was boss and led up to this point beautifully. Props to the cast. Props to the directors. Props to Disney. It's amazing. They just needed some time to find the right pieces and parts, and oh, they found it. I want to give a shout out to Rex and the Round and Kessel Run Transmissions. I had a lot of fun watching their reaction video. You guys cracked me up. Michael, that was dope. Taylor, what's up? Janae, Hip Janae. Greg, shouts out. Yeah, there'll be more content that I'm going to be working on. I'm going to follow along. I can't wait for some of the other Star Wars properties to come up. I'm a Marvel head, so I might do some Marvel stuff. They got a lot coming in the spring. So we'll keep it running. I really appreciate y'all rocking with me. I kind of put all this together impromptu, but I think I want to keep doing it. So if you like that, come along with me, all right? All right. Thanks for rocking with me. Peace.